Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking. It's so nice to be back in the house with you today. September is our rainy season here in the tropics, and we're having a rainy afternoon, and I thought, what am I going to have for dinner? And I thought, I'm going to fix something that my grandmother used to fix all the time, and it was called a hoe cake. And the hoe cakes actually originated in the 1700s. The farmers and the plantation owners and everybody, they would actually make up a dough and either put it on a shovel or the back of the hoe and put it on the fire and cook it, make a hoe cake. But there's so many different kinds of hoe cakes today. People make hoe cakes and they deep fry them, they bake them. There are all different kind of ways to make hoe cakes. So I'm not saying my way is the correct way. I'm just saying this is the way I do it. So if you fry yours or have you do yours, that's great, to do with yours. But we're going to make a hoe cake the way that my grandmother made it and my mother made it and the way I make the hoe cake. So I'm starting out with 2 cups of self-rising flour. I got 2 cups of self-rising flour. To the 2 cups of self-rising flour, I've got some soda here, and I'm just going to put, it's just a tiny pinch in there. I really got too much there. Just a tiny pinch. Okay, now, what my grandmother would do is she would take and she would use lard. It was really not healthy for you. But then when Crisco came out, my mother and my grandmother both used Crisco. So you can do the whole hoe cake with just Crisco, with like a 1/4 cup of Crisco. But I like to mix the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 1/8 cup, what I think is about 1/8 cup of Crisco, and I'm going to put it in my bowl. Okay. And then we'll take my pastry blender, and if you don't have one of these, you can use two forks or 2 knives to cut them together. However you want to, whatever you want to do is best for you. But I'm just going to sort of blend this in here together. Okay, now, give me 1 second and I'll be right back to you. Why I put you on hold is because I forgot to get the butter out earlier. So I've got, like I said, you can use just a 1/4 cup of Crisco, but I'm going to use like 1/8 cup of Crisco, and then I'm going to take the rest of it and I'm going to use butter. I'm going to use maybe 4 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to grate it into my mixture, into my flour here. It'll just make it that much richer and that much better, and it'll just taste so much better with the extra butter in it. So I'm just going to put about what I think is about 4 tablespoons in there. Just a little bit more. Okay, I think that's more than enough right now. Okay, let me get into that I have in the middle in here out, which I have a little bit. Okay, now ideally this should be really, really loose and everything, but it's not, so I can move it with my hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take, and I'm going to blend that also with my pastry hook, my pastry blender. I want to make sure that's all good incorporated. And it should look like that, sort of like little pea-sized pieces in there. So I've got about a 1/4 cup altogether, including my Crisco, including my butter. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put buttermilk in here. And buttermilk depends on, it's strictly, every time I do it, I don't have the exact amount. I have to look at it and do it. This is a wet mixture, a wet dough. And I'll just show you the consistency, what it's supposed to look like when we get there. As you can see, that's still real dry. But I want this dough to be really, really wet. It's still not enough. So I made up, I have 2 cups of buttermilk here. I put the 2 cups in here. And that's going to probably do it. You see how wet that is? That's what I want. All right, now the next step is I've got my cast iron skillet. You know how much I love to cook with cast iron. And this is when it gets really fun. I'm just going to reach in here in my CRISCO can, and I want to really grease my pan. I want to put the grease all over the sides, all over the bottom. I want to really make sure that this thing is really greased. My oven's set on 450 degrees, and this is going to probably cook for about 30 minutes. But I want to make sure that I have it greased all the way around, and it's heavily greased. Okay. Go on the sides here and put the rest of it here. Okay, give me a second to get my paper towel here. Wipe a little bit of this off my hands. Okay. Now what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to take my batter and we'll pour it right here in my pan. You can see, like I said, it's a really wet batter. But you want this will come out, it'll be really crunchy on the outside and really soft on the inside. Okay, I want to sort of spread this around in my pan a little bit. And you see how simple that was. That was so incredible simple. We have flour, all self-rising flour, a little bit of soda, and some buttermilk, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put this in my oven. Like I said, my oven's set on 450 for 30 minutes. And when the 30 minutes is up, I'll be back to you with my version of a Southern hoe cake. Okay, my timer just went off. Our hoe cake is ready. It's been in the oven for 30 minutes. I'm going to get it out now. And there we go. There she is. So what I'm going to do right away, I'm going to flip her right out. Put this back here. Put this on top of here. Flip her over, and there is our perfect hoe cake. Some people call it a big biscuit, but like I said, that's what I grew up with. We used to have it when we cut it. My grandmother would make red-eye gravy or sausage gravy, or if we had like a thick stew or a beef stew or something, she'd fix it for that also. So I'm crazy. I always liked it when it was really hot. So I'm going to get my butter and we're going to cut a piece. Okay, I've got my butter here and I've got some cherry preserves, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut a piece right out of the middle here. And like you saw, it just came right out of the oven, so it is hot. But that's the way I like it, okay? There's a piece right there. You can see it's nice and soft inside, but crunchy on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'll put a little bit of butter right on the top of it here. If I was by myself, I'd probably slice it open, but since I'm showing you, I'm going to put some butter on the top of it right there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my my cherry preserves and put some cherry preserves on there. And there is our hoe cake with preserves. And like I said, it's really good with gravy. It's really good for stew. It's just a fun bread to make. And this is a bread that's been around for a couple hundred years. So if you want something interesting and something that has some history to it, make you a hoe cake. Some people call them pound cakes. Some people call them big biscuits. But make one and try it and see what you think about it. But this has a lot of history and goes back quite a ways. So I hope you try this. It's an old Southern recipe that's been around for a long time, and it's one of my favorites, and they're bringing back some really fond memories when I was a child at my grandmother's house. Until next time, this is Jim in Mexico saying you take care of yourself. Know that I'm thinking about you, and I thank all of you for your support. You mean the world to me. Give yourselves a great big hug and know that I'm thinking about you, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Until next time, I'm going to go and have the rest of my hoe cake and hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless.